I need to talk louder. That's really weird. I feel like, is this still loud enough right now? Because I feel like I'm pushing myself.
You're pushing yourself. That's fine, yeah. That's what we need from you.
Good.
Excellent.
Great. Wonderful. I'm going to have to, look at this because I feel like I'm going to start talking down here again because this is more comfortable.
Yeah, you're going to have to keep watching yourself.
I will. I'll learn how to do it.
Yeah. It's a tricky thing. But welcome back, Paulette Simmons. This is the welcome everybody to the Land of Enchantment reunion tour. This is my fiance now here, ready to do some talking about the paranormal.
Yes, the paranormal.
But today, actually, what we're going to be doing, and you got to actually talk into the mic.
This is so weird.
So I thought that today we would probably talk about, I don't know, since it is Halloween, that we would talk about our favorite pastime, spooky stories.
Ah, yes, spooky stories.
Creepy pastas,
True
Reddit,
crime.
no sleep, podcasts with the no crime, or the crime junkie, whatever you want to call them. So let's get right into that. You would consider yourself a horror buff, would you?
I am a horror buff. I wouldn't say that I dig too far into it, but I'm always willing to listen to something new and find out some new fun things.
Such as so what are some of your favorite what are your favorite podcasts you're listening to right now that fit that horror true crime genre?
My all-time favorite podcast is Morbid.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Tell me about Morbid. What do they do? Who are they?
It's just two young females talking about different serial killers that have been all over the world, and specifically more in the United States, and some other spooky stories like Spooky Roads and...
Spooky Roads?
Yeah.
Oh. And paranormal stuff on that side?
Yes.
All right. Oh. I won't lie, I like the Morbid crew. They're chill. But they're not really into the ghost stuff, except for those highway ones. Have you heard any other ghost ones?
There have been a few other ghost ones, not as many as there could be, and there's also some listener tales that have to do with the paranormal, which are pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, actually we listened to one, and I believe there was a story about the Ghost Bridge that's down in what is that town? It's near Aurora. It's the Ghost Bridge though. I think Morbid had a tale about one guy went out there with 4 of his friends, and apparently it's there's been a couple of tragedies at this bridge out in Colorado. I want to say it's Benton. Oh no, what is that town? Yeah, it's starts with a B for sure. And it's not Bailey. Bailey's in the mountains.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a ghost bridge down in it's Bennett. That's what it is.
Bennett,
Colorado. There's a ghost bridge down in Bennett, Colorado, and one of these Morbid listener tales actually went into depth about just the crazy stuff that went on when they went there. And I don't know if it was Halloween night or they went there sometime to get spooked, and it worked. Would you say that listening to horror or terrorizing material is better or worse? What do you like better? Do you like seeing it? Do you like listening to it?
I enjoy listening to it. I enjoy it mostly because my mind creates these crazy scenarios that freak me out, and that's always a fun little scare. But I mean, I like watching it too. I just feel like I haven't watched a lot of movies or TV shows that have really gotten my heart beat up.
Yeah, scared you enough.
Yeah.
I kind of feel the same way, where I think that, the mind is really that's the real deal,
That's where the scary stuff is.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know, something about being able to create it in your head. Yeah, you make it far worse than it really could be or is, and then there's that thing where you see the movie monster, and when you see the movie monster, you don't, you're not scared of it anymore,
Yeah. And usually it's through commercials first anyway, so you're already expecting it.
Yeah, you kind of get the idea. But we started off listening to creepypastas every single night for a while. It was it was like our thing, right?
It was. That was enjoyable.
Tell me about that. Tell me how that got started, and you know, how we burnt ourselves out on it.
Well, I think you definitely introduced me to creepypasta. We just listened to it every night.
Yeah, on YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube. And then you left for work, and I kind of raged through them, and, they started repeating themselves, and all the channels started sounding the same.
Yeah, and that's something that's interesting. In the early days of the internet, I don't know, there was like the creepypasta.com, which was just like all the written ones that people would kind of, store their horror fiction / like, internet creep up on there. And like, at first it was interesting because it was very diverse, I feel. The stories and the artists and the things like that. The early days of the internet were very good. And now, I don't know what it is, but it seems like everybody and their mom's got it just fallen into this cookie cutter, horrible stories. Like the writing is atrocious and
it's cheesy and predictable.
Stories are like, like what are they? Now it's all like 10 things I wish I didn't know about cemeteries, or like, or what is it now? It's like, I got a job at a zoo for the dead or something, and it's like,
and I have to follow these 10 rules.
Yeah, got to follow these 10 rules or else the demons will get me. At the moment, we're petting our little black kitty cat, our little Omen, Otter Pop. Say hello, Otter Pop. Well, Otter's in the house. Tell me about some of your favorite creepypastas now, babe. What were some ones that you found, to be the top tier before they all divulged into a bunch of crap?
Well, I have always liked the skinwalker type stories, or, you're going camping in the woods, because we're from Colorado and we love to camp and we love to be outside, and that darkness can be a little spooky at night, and it's always fun to think about things that could happen to us.
That it can, including the fact that some of these stories are actually, you find that they're even scarier because there's some true ones. If you go to like Reddit No Sleep or Reddit like, Spook or whatever they got some different ones on there. They have ones about people, going into the woods and just having encounters with even the scariest thing on earth, actual other people who are just creepy or out there trying to murder you in the woods. And those ones, that had a pretty good run for a second until that started becoming full of liars.
And hokey.
Yeah, that's the problem. And I don't know, like, is it the fact that it actually got hokey, or did we just burn ourselves out on horror stories?
I feel like it's a little bit of both, because I definitely had multiple subscriptions where I would hear the same story and it was just tweaked a little bit. And I always try to go back, every few months and see if there's anything new, and it's just kind of still the same. But, there's always that one little diamond in the rough that you'll find.
Do you know any names, any of the YouTube guys or anybody that you listen to particularly?
I think like Lighthouse Horror was one of my favorite ones for a while.
Dr. Creepin'?
Yeah, I listened to Dr. Creepin'.
There's another one too. It's like not Dr. Creepin', it's another one. It's like Mr. Scary or something.
Yeah, no, I don't remember.
Well, there's Mr. Creepypasta. He's the original. He was the original one that I started off with. And there's some good ones. If anybody hasn't read, there's a creepypasta called Pen Pal. I believe it's by, I don't know, last time I saw it was like 1,000 Vultures or something. That was the name. But that one's pretty creepy. And that one is actually, that's one of those like real people, real scary ones. I think it's a work of fiction, but it's probably one of the best ones. And it's kind of sad because then you get a story like that, and then you go on this, months and months and months of just the same kind of cookie cutter. Oh, I'm supposed to believe all this stuff, like the person's just like, then I pulled out my gun and I went to go fight the thing. You're like, okay. Just like another one of those Hollywood B horror movies, in written form. So anybody else that you like in there?
I listen to Chas a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And
That's
The Darksonium?
Mm-hmm.
Somnium?
Oh, yeah,
My bad.
Dark Somnium. Yeah, Chast does more of the paranormal 4chan X board stuff.
Ah, yes.
Which is, it's another one of those places like Reddit where, the real people come in and they tell their creepy stories. But, as they've gone on, it seems to be, it gets more embellished and there's less real stuff. As far as podcasts that I listen to that I find to be the best, I think that one of the best ones, if you're out there, would be to listen to, I think it's Monsters Among Us? No. Yes, it is the Monsters Among Us. It used to be called Here There Be Monsters, but that was, somebody else took that name. But it's done by a guy named Derek Hayes. I don't know much about his background. Apparently he's worked in Hollywood and done a bunch of stuff with films and that, but he does a show where it's like a call-in show, and it's all about people call in with their voicemails, and they'll tell about anything from weird, Bigfoot experiences to UFO encounters or, even ghostly premonitions, weird stuff like that. I think there's something about the amateur content now that I really get into. I don't want to, when you see the professional stuff, you're like, man, like they're trying to set me up for something. They want me to feel a certain way, but with the amateur content, with the people just coming in with their pure experiences, I think that reactivates that, that part of your amygdala that's like, oh God, oh no, what's happening? Because if it's happening to real people, you're like, I don't know, there's something about it that you're like, it could happen to me. It's not so Hollywood. That's why I feel like a lot of the horror movies that aren't indie horror really don't seem to work too good. What's your take on the scary movies? I can't even remember the last movie that was of the horror genre where I was actually freaked out.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I went a few years when I was younger just being terrified of everything, and then there's just one day that switch flipped and I watched almost every horror movie I could get my hands on, and as time went on, and I guess just like the modern horror now, it's repetitive, and I can tell when something's going to happen and probably, what it's going to look like, and it doesn't get me.
Doesn't get you there anymore.
Yeah.
Man, what a sad state of affairs, Now, can you think back to what was one film that did give you the scared, What kept you on the edge when you were, I guess you would have to be younger, right?
Yeah, I think what really told me that I did not like horror was The Grudge and The Ring.
Which is around the time that I think that, that was when horror was scary for people, or for kids, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know so much about, I don't know. I don't know how adults felt.
I never watched either one of them, but, all the hype from it, and then, that weird Grudge sound, or the static TV when, the dead girl crawls out of it. Yeah.
I love that.
I could not be around static TVs. I would freak out. I'd put in my little Harry Potter VHS and
and
quickly fast forward through static.
That's funny. Got to get through. Yeah. Or you'd have to, there would be that static every time you'd undo the VCR. So it was kind of.
That creeped me out for ages.
And that makes sense. I think that the first time that I watched something that was really sketched me out, and it's not even really that bad anymore, I don't think, but the 1980s Amityville Horror.
Oh,
So funny enough, I don't know about your family. My family was like, horror? Oh no, that's scary. We're not watching that. So we never actually, horror wasn't a big part of the type of movies that we would ever watch. So I remember being really young and we used to have it was Channel 20, and it would play random movies and random reruns of popular TV shows. It was kind of like the secondhand store for stuff. And I remember one time that during Halloween or something, they'd play tons of scary movies. And I remember the first time I ever I woke up and it was Amityville Horror, and it was the older one, it was the scene where like the ghost or whatever locks the babysitter in the closet, and the kids are getting terrified or something. And I don't know if it's the babysitter or whatever, but in the film, she's just like pounding on the closet, and her knuckles are getting all bloody, and I'm like, oh god,
yeah.
like being like, you know. And as a kid, I was like, whoa, that's pretty terrifying. And so, but I kept watching because I'm this sick, sadistic kid, and there was a part where I think they're just like, oh, I want to play with whatever they called the name of the ghost in that one. They were like, I'm playing with Charlie, and then the lady like looks up, and then there's these like the eyes, and it was only the eyes, you know, in the window, and then they quickly scoot away, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
There's something about
Dark windows.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say disembodied eyes.
Oh, true.
Yeah. Ooh, them dark windows.
Well, I always expect disembodied eyes if I'm looking out a dark window, like something creepy is going on.
But that was, yeah, and then I remember not watching anymore after that, and of course I was in a dark basement with like just the TV, and then I had to run up the freaking stairs.
In your house, yeah, that's sketch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was in the basement. Yikes. So, I mean, hey, I think we did pretty good. Overall, like...
For my first time, I feel like that was mediocre.
Yeah, it's not done yet. What are you talking about? You gotta keep talking to me here. Let's wrap this up here, you know? Let's tell some people, you know, okay, so there's a ton of good, scary material if you're really, really into it and you know where to look. Don't take our words for it. We've definitely burnt ourselves out.
We are up for suggestions as well.
Yeah,
you can
actually.
write in.
Mm-hmm. Well, by write in, we mean give us a review on Apple Podcasts. That's a plus.
Mean, like, write in with horror stories or...
Well, I know what you mean, but I mean, where are they going to write in the horror stories?
You're going to give out your email. You're going to create an email for it.
Maybe I will. Well, boys and girls, we'll set up an email for it. Maybe not now, because I'm too busy eating candy on this Halloween Eve. But you know what? It's not even Halloween Eve. It's Halloween.
I don't have any candy.
What are you talking about? I got a ton of candy. I'm eating it right now. Can't you hear the crinkling?
Not the ones that I want.
Yeah, you're right. You hate Twix. It's a shame. Sooner or later, we'll get you a thing you can write in. We'll have many more of these different types of podcasts coming out soon. Different topics. Yeah, but creepypastas, man. If you really want to get sketched, go to Reddit No Sleep. Look for some like paranormal X-Chan board. There's pretty scary. The original Mr. Creepypasta and Creepypasta Jr. I don't know, all the YouTube guys. There's some pretty good ones. There's a homie called Mr. Ball, and I got into for a little bit, but after you listen to some of their stories, it's you know, stuff you already heard about. It's very tabloid. But Mr. Ballin does have his own personal ghost story, and that shit is scary as hell. And with that, play the music, babe. We're getting out of here. Go enjoy your Halloween, people. Party it up. Don't let the Dracula bite you. Or the mummy. Except if you get bit by a mummy, you just get bit by a dead guy. It's not even bad. Just weird. Thanks, babe. Thanks for all that support.